They say I got the juice, I got the soul. These haters on my body, shake them.
Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I wake up this morning. Excuse my Barry White voice. I wish I could walk around with a voice like this. But I wake up this early this morning to the news of um Brother Chadwick. His he passed away, and I'm like, God, gee Willikers, Batman. And I don't even know what to say. Um, don't always have to say something, but that was um that was something. What's up, Jay? Good morning, brother. Glad to see you online, brother. So today we're gonna run the show. It's gonna be me and a couple guests gonna be calling in. Um, my DJ, he's out making that Skrilla scratch paper once again, and I hope he's out there being safe. I hope everybody under the sound of my voice is safe at home, chilling next to your loved one and your family members and all that. Um, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play a track from one of our guests that's coming on later on today. Um, it's called "I Will." It's by Aaron Jones. We're gonna get that started, and then in the next few minutes, I'm gonna bring on our very first guest. She's a student of one of the show's good friends, Joy Latay. One of her students, and I was introduced to her singing abilities last week. Joy tagged me into one of her videos, and I was like, I would like to get the young sister on here to sing for the people and ask her a few questions and get her some exposure to y'all. But first, without no further ado, here's Aaron Jones with "I Will." Good morning, Mama. Love you.
Na 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 na. Said it sounds good, don't it? At least it's what you used to. The same story, different riddle, maybe somewhere in the middle, babe. Back to square one, I guess. You say love's an action. If it's worth it, you can have faith in love, but you stand the same way. I guess we all have our hang-ups, but as time goes by, you see yourself and wonder why, babe. It ain't no need to wonder why. I'll show ya, show it to me. I will give me a chance to prove, you know that I will. I will. You never have to question what I feel for you. Just know that I'm there. You know that I will. I will, yeah. All I need in this love is patience. This is a marathon, I don't need to rush it, babe. It ain't no telling what the finished story is, I'm saying. Live in love, trust I'll show you who I are. You keep it real and I hold it down. Yeah, it ain't don't need to wonder why. Show it to me, I will. Give me a chance to prove, you know that I will. I will. You never have to question what I do for you. Just know that I'm there. Know that I will. You should know that you are worthy. Know that it's love in my heart. Can you feel when I'm around you? I'll show you what you are to me. I can give you what's missing, baby. You'll find us searching in the dark, baby. We'll find us tonight. And if you're willing, all I gotta do is say that I give me a chance to know, you know that I will. I will. You never have to question what I do for you. Just know that I'm there. Know that I will.
Sounds so beautiful, don't you agree?
I will, yeah. I will, yeah. I will, yeah.
Now that was a good song. That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. My mind's just still elsewhere. But that was a beautiful song, man. That was a beautiful song. My man Aaron bringing R&B all the way back. So ladies and gentlemen, tell me how you feeling this morning. It's like every day is something new, right? What, as me and my mom would say, was what do you do? What's up, Lachey? Yeah, that song was good. It was good, man. Saturday, August 29th, 2020. One thing for sure, 2020 is close to being over. Not to say that the problems and the issues that have been going on prior to 2020 that spilled over into 2020 that has sort of grown legs and become like the super villain 2020. Not to say that won't happen in 2021, but 2020 is almost over. Shout out to that. I mean, not trying to rush it out, because even through you know what I mean, obstacles, there's some jewels in that. There's something that you can take and build better. But God damn. Yeah, Rosalind still process. Like when I got the news, I was like, what? How, Sway? But yeah, all kind of stuff is popping over all throughout the country, though, all throughout the world, all through existence. And so we're gonna wait for our first guest to come into the Zoom. If she'll show up here momentarily. But while we wait, we might as well play another song while we wait. So this is a song that I did with Elijah Waheed and one of his partners. I can't think of his name right now. But we did this a while ago. And crazy fact is we did this in 2018 or 17, and it's still relevant in 2020. It was relevant before 2018, but you know. What's up, Muna? Good morning, girl.
Are your friends? They're here to protect and serve. The policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve.
Stay in the pocket. Listen to what's being said.
They're here to protect and serve.
Yeah, right.
The policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve. The policemen are
Sound crazy, right?
they're here to protect and serve. The policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve.
See, the media
Good
got
morning,
y'all thinking
Shishi.
we all thugs, disrespectful, real niggas, gangbangers who sell and do a lot of drugs. With the exception of some bullshit, we know it's all a lie. Like saying ain't no black vegans, we eat everything fried. Not to mention the conditions that the lawmakers have made. In your eyes, we're super predators, it's okay to leave us slain. But I'ma give you what you asked for, and that's my ID. Doing it slow, hands to yourself and your eyes on me. If you shoot to kill, well, then that's your ass, baby. Left instructions, put the silver servant bond on link. What you do that for? Shit, so your kids won't eat. And your spouse will need a second job to make ends meet. Obama passed the laws that protect the police. You play Rambo in the streets for your corrupted precinct.
What'd he do? Hell, he reached for his wallet and that's all fine. But I got scared. With no warning shit, I shot him 9 times.
Policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve. The policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve. The policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve. The policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve.
Pardon me if I'm honorary for spitting this YouTube law degree. I'm in my driveway, suit tie. Ain't no need to bother me. Let me get inside 50 the script. Blackmail, armed and dangerous. If you see one, even a kid, hold him down and empty the clear.
Crooked officer, take your motherfucking hands off of us. We ain't got nothing in this car but us. You thinking that my melanin is dangerous?
I'm Huey P, Bobby Seale, Medgar Evers. I know your history evolving from the slave catcher after emancipation, Jim Crow and segregation, private prison, stop and frisk, oppressive legislation with mass incarceration and lack of regulations. Intentional target, it starts with lack of education, perception across the nation, legal asphyxiation, and they preoccupation is that we black and dangerous. God damn. Hello.
Here to protect and serve. The policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve. The policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve. The policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve.
Action verbs like run, kick, shoot, sick. Dogs on my peoples get lost so unequal that the flaws feed the dumb shit. I'm cuffed in the back, I'm face down, nigga can't sit. Fearing for your life while I'm soaking in the blood pits. Comments from your wife on the stand, he's such a good man. Army brat, captain of his team, so he won't quit. Tall, fit, deacon at his church miss. Kirk says he helps her when her power trips. Adores me some weather strip, now whether it hum like a machine or how he saw my hands and screamed out to his crew that he was fine, but then his finger twitch. Put me in my grave, slay my moms, watch her heart split. Feel it while she consoles, lips, cooks, smiles, cries, spits, protects and serves lives. And how come most cops afraid to snitch? Just as much as any kid that's done some dirty damage with paternal orders, standard grit, single clips and stories flip. The morals this, the policemen are your
Policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve. The policemen are your friends.
I know the first time I played that for a couple of friends of mine, they was like, the policemen are our friends. What are you talking about? I'm like, just listen, stay in pocket. The rest is coming. Yeah, Rosalind, she said, Rosalind Webb says that one was a blow to the culture. I know some kiddos that have now seen their superheroes pass away to the real ancestral plane. That's right. And I think the first time I saw one of my heroes that weren't a part of my friends or my family circle, the first time I saw one of my heroes that I see on TV die was Tupac. Tupac was one of my very first heroes. And then that led me to learning about Malcolm X and Stokely Carmichael, a lot of other big time, and not necessarily big time because the popularity, because America doesn't want those two brothers to be popular anyway, but uh, just being in, public history. And when and I didn't know how to, comprehend it. I was like, Tupac ain't dead. What? Y'all crazy. And it took me a couple days for that to really process. And when it processed, like it hit, I'm doing my thing, whatever, going through day to day. And then when it hit, I just broke down, and it felt like it was a relative of mine. But yeah, that's whew. I'm sure, Chad Boswell, he stood for a lot of stuff. He stood for some good stuff, like not just good, but it was almost like when you get a item from a toy store or something, and it says batteries are included. The things that he was about, that was a part of his DNA, which should be a part of a lot of our DNA. But the difference is he had like some authentic culture and coming up, and he had a bigger view of who he was in the past to who he's supposed to be in the future. And that's a place where we need to get. And this is something that I share with the people in my circle all the time, is we have to start learning who we were before colonization. We have to. Because if we don't, then if you're not going to learn who you were before colonization, then it's best that you just sit down and accept this bullshit that we getting. Because this humming and we shall overcoming and this kumbaya and shit, that ain't never worked. It ain't never worked. You can't, I say this all the time on the show, you can't beg a bully to get off of you. You can't sing a bully off of you. Yeah, Muna. She says it's hitting hard this morning. His personality shined through his character. I'm very sad and in awe at him at the same time. He did all he did going through a major disease. That's right. He did a lot, man. And one thing Denzel Washington says about your career, and I think he was meaning this for everything. Your choices and your the path where you end up, like where you're seen, like your body of work, it doesn't it's the no's that count, not the yeses. And what he means is, especially when as it pertains to entertainment in Hollywood, as a black man and black women, you're going to get thrown a lot of bullshit. You're going to get thrown a lot of things to feed into this stereotypical narrative that has been broadly painted about all of us. They're going to throw money at you to do that. The most important thing about your character is what you say yes to and what you say no to. So when I look at the discography of Brother Chadwick, he had a bunch of great projects, and he performed like what was it? The Jackie Robinson story, the James Brown story. Of course, everybody knows about the Black Panther story. And of course, he has some other movies here and there that might not have hit that same box office plateau. Box office, acclaim. But you didn't see him in no shucking and jiving. I don't see him. I've never seen him in no shucking and jiving. And even if it wasn't compared to what these cats do now. These cats be like doom 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 doom. Yeah. Rosalind, she said about the song. It says policeman ain't no snitch. So how do we put pressure? It says policeman ain't no snitch. So how do we put pressure on the inside of the system? They can fake change, make some adjustments. It look like change outside, but how do we get? So I don't think that there was no part in this song that says the policemen aren't snitches. But to change a system, you can't go inside of a system and change it. You create another system to change that system. And when you look in history, we've done that. But because the collective won't get behind it. It fizzles out. The Black Panther Party, if you study the Black Panther Party, every facet of it, from its inception to the destruction of it, they were building the system. The systems were being built, but people aren't really ready to make those sacrifices. And some of those sacrifices, unfortunately, are the ultimate sacrifice. There's no revolutionary that actually had momentum that was making change that got out of it safe. He or she didn't get out of it safe. You could not win a struggle safely. You can't do it in your Lexus and your Hondas and your Gucci's and all that. You can't. You got to get dirty. And another thing that we speak about on this show is politics is more. Politics is 365 days a year. It's not you going in and checking that check mark, that check box. That's the cherry on top. That's to push what you've done all year forward. That's to select all the work that we've done as a collective forward at that year. And it starts with your spending habits. Would you give a murderer $100? Would you give a murderer's accomplice $100? You'll say no out of your mouth right now. But Walmart gives your money to all of the politic figures that allow innocent Black men and women to be gunned down. They actually give them money to their campaigns. But it's cheap. I get it's cheap, but it's merchandise. Merchandise doesn't do anything for your life. Water does things for your life. Does Flint still have water yet? And what politician is in jail from that? Nobody. We spend a lot of time glorifying a lot of bullshit and participating in it, and then expect the system to work in our benefit. But there's there's nowhere in the history that shows that will happen. That's not even natural. That's not nature. Once you're conquered, they're not going to let off just because you are uncomfortable with being conquered. There was a post that I posted the other day on my Instagram. It was a story. Let me find it. It was from Stalin. Let me see if it's still up. Let me go find it. I'm going to read it to you guys. It's basically a story. So it says, Stalin once ripped all the feathers off of a chicken as a lesson to his followers. Listen close now. Stalin once ripped all the feathers off the chicken as a lesson to his followers. He then set the chicken on the floor a short distance away. The chicken was bloody and suffering immensely. Yet, when Stalin began to toss bits of wheat towards the chicken, it followed him around. He says to his followers, this is how easy it is to govern stupid people. They will follow you no matter how much pain you cause them, as long as you throw them a little worthless treat once in a while. And the more I read, man, the more I read and study, I'm like, the answers are right in front of us. A lot of them are sort of common sense. It's like when you apply how you would function in your day-to-day life and apply that to the whole board. Like, for instance, you'll have these conversations in private, but you never really hear any of our elders say this publicly. Well, I know some elders that will say this privately, and they say how integration hurt Black people. And they go to break it down was, before integration, we had our own banks, we had our own grocery stores, we had our own schools, we had our own everything. Although it was a struggle, we was up and coming, building up. But as soon as we integrated, nobody else integrated like us. We lost everything. We lost control of everything that was ours, that we was able to maintain, because during slavery, we lost damn near everything that was ours anyway through inhumane treatment, which would happen to have a trickle down effect that would go from generation to generation, just like massive Just like, matter of fact, all the systems that have happened, they're having generational impacts. So you can't pull a father out the house, raise a child, and expect that child, especially back then in those times, to function like it's supposed to. And then you go and you throw drugs in the system. Then you mess up the education. I mean, all these things are perpetual, and they push these narratives forward. And we just sit there like, I don't know what's happening. It's right in front of your face. And the people that you subscribe to, the people that you listening to, your politicians, your pastors, your corporate leaders, all these people, they're leading you right over the cliff with a nice little song and dance, a nice little feel good. But when you look at the trajectory of where are we going, we're going in circles, man. We're going in circles, feel good circles. And I didn't want to talk about this today because it's this whole every week is just something. And I don't know, man. And people that know me, they Jamille ain't never lost for words, but I'm just like, I'm pulling. I'm like, I cannot find nothing to make it make sense. Like it just don't make sense. But you know, it just don't make sense. But let's go to, we're gonna play a little Tyrone Dixon. Coach Willie Earl. This is his single. You guys go out and get this music that we putting y'all in front of, putting music in front of you that you haven't seen yet or heard yet. But yeah, boy, I got the exclusive.
Really, girl, is all I need, because you're so special to me. I love the way you look, I love the way you taste, I love the way you move, you're my honey. Really, girl, is all I need, because you're so special to me. I love the way you look, I love the way you taste, I love the way you move, you're my honey. Seventeen hours, 38 minutes to she ain't with me. Really, girl, is all I need, because you're so special to me. I love the way you look, I love the way you taste, I love the way you move, you're my honey. Really, girl, is all I need, because you're so special to me. I love the way you look, I love the way you taste, I love the way you move, you're my honey. girl is all I need. Because you're so special to me. I love the way you look, I love the way you taste, I love the way you move in my body. Really, girl is all I need. Because you're so special to me. I love the way you look, I love the way you taste, I love the way you move in my body. Really, girl is all I need. Because you're so special to me. I love the way you look, I love the way you taste, I love the way you move in my body. Really, girl is all I need. Because you're so special to me. I love the way you look, I love the way you taste, I love the way you move, you're my remedy.
Well, don't you agree? I'm telling you, man, I be bringing y'all some hits, man. I do, cause I be in the crates fishing. What's up, fish back, my boy? What's good, brother? Hope you out there safe in Naptown. Hope everybody's safe everywhere. So, what do y'all think about the Tyson fight coming up? Let's switch gears. Let's switch gears to the Tyson fight. I saw that thing and I was like, why would Roy Jones do this to himself? But you know, I hope they don't hurt each other, but I hope they don't hurt each other. But Mike, that's another hero of mine, Mike Tyson, boy. And say what you will about Mike. He's intelligent. You let him talk. Yeah, I don't. But you know what? Fish. I don't think Mike is going to knock Roy out. I don't think that they're going to take it. It's an exhibition fight. I don't think that they're really going to get in there and yang. Because if so, Roy might need a colostomy bag. He might, and I don't want that to happen to neither one of them. I would hate to. Mike. I remember the first Mike Tyson fight that I remember seeing as a kid was at my grandfather's room, and me, my brother, and two of my cousins. We was up there. They had popcorn and everything, and it was a Mike Tyson and Spinks fight. And I'm thinking we gonna be in for a nice fight. That fight lasted, was it 30 seconds, 32 seconds? And if you would have went to the restroom or something like that, you wouldn't have never experienced that. You'd have just, well, not live anyway. You'd have been able to see the highlights afterwards. But it was something to see that live. Like you like, all right, let me get some popcorn. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, that's some good popcorn. It's over. What? It just started. Oh man. Fish, he said he gonna have a flashback. Please don't, Mike. Please don't have a flashback. Please don't. Roy Jones is our brother. Yeah, Mike is off his meds. Yeah, that's what messed Mike up when the doctor put him on the meds because he was ferocious, as he said. Tyson's HBO show was great. What HBO show? I'm gonna have to Google that. I'm gonna have to Google that. I need to get some Mike artwork in the crib. That brother right there. I mean, he made the part. You remember he had the part where he had the part in the oh man. Mike was something else, man. Could you imagine working out with Mike? I watched a couple videos of him sparring, and all the guys that he fought with, they would have the head guards on. Mike didn't have a head guard. So that means Mike was taking the punches. If they caught him, boom. But if you caught him, you could see he was like, oh yeah, that's what we gonna do. Pop, pop, pop. And you could just hear the ribs in the stomach sloshing like, hey man, we throw in the towel. We don't want to do this. This ain't what we want to do. He has a one-man show where he talks about, they turned it into an HBO show. I knew he was on tour doing that. I didn't know that he had an actual show. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to really check that out. Let me put that on my to-do list. All right. So I don't like we're gonna have the first guest. She probably still sleep. That's all right. Uh now waiting on the second one, Aaron Jones. Let's see. Let's see. Um yeah, here he comes. Shout, shout, but shout it. Shout, but shout it. What new music are y'all checking out? And here's the thing about music. Music is so therapeutic. You know, whenever you feel a certain kind of way, you got a song that'll help you sort of feel a certain kind of way, get through it, whatever. Sometimes I hit up friends and be like, "Hey, what you listening to? Like, put me on some new music or something like that." Let's see. Copy. We about to get Aaron on the call. Is that the right one? Yep, that's the right one. So he should be showing him momentarily. This brother right here, man, he's from Ohio. I met him in the barbershop, and the brother's beard, man, it looked like you would think that he got some type of super hair growth or something because his beard is up to here like Black Thought. I'm like, man, I want my beard that high too. Fish, you just listened to the Jagged. How new is the Jagged Edge? I have a Jagged Edge album that was somewhat new, like 2015. They came out with a new. I like how we double talk now. New. All right, ladies and gentlemen. With no further ado, we got my barbershop brother, Aaron Jones coming in. Let me go ahead and admit him. And yes, sir. Let's see. Get Aaron and my bearded brother in here. There he is. My brother, look at you. Look at you. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the beard. Look at the beard on Aaron Jones. Look at that shit. Hey man, unmute your phone. There we
There
go.
we go.
There
Can
we
you hear
go.
me?
I can hear you. What's going on, boss?
Man, just living, man. Just trying to stay safe and healthy. How you?
Hey, that's a full-time job. It's the same.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
man, I went and got a cut by Sam the other day, and I said, "Hey, man, I'm trying to compete with Aaron, man. So go and hook my joint up."
Never no competition, brother. Never
Uh,
competition.
I know, but listen, man, we played. I played your song today. I will.
I appreciate that.
That's a beautiful song, man. Now,
Thank you.
do you write your own music?
I do. I've either written or co-written everything that I've ever done. Um, yeah.
Okay,
So that
go ahead.
that song particularly, I will. It's about I got a regular day job too. Got to pay the bills, you know.
Right.
So
Can't sell dope no more.
right. My former boss, she had man problems. She could never keep one. So she was in her office one day and she had ordered some golf clubs
Mm.
and she was going to just a range just to practice to try to meet a man.
Oh.
And he was just telling me about her story. So I flipped it and took personal experiences that I've heard from other women
Mm-hmm.
and just made a song out of it.
Mm. Ladies, what do y'all do? Where do y'all go to attract a man that might not be conventional? I mean, that might be conventional. I don't know. When I first moved to Atlanta, this was the first time I was ever exposed to the strip club culture. I'm from Indiana, you from Ohio. I don't know how it is in Ohio, but the strip club scene in Indiana, it's
Not like this
not at all. And
at
so
all.
my homeboy, we went to what's that called? A Hooters. And we were
Hmm.
talking to one of the waitresses. We was like, "So where are y'all going tonight?" And she was like, "We going to the strip club." And I was like, to a man strip club? They got male strip clubs here? She said they do, but nah, we're not going to that one. We going to the girl strip club. So me and my boy looked at each other and was like, and then looked back at her. It's like, well, why would you do that?
It's a show. That's what they say. It's like a show down here. I've been to Magic City once since I've been here. That was a memorable night.
Yeah, yeah. And so her rebuttal was, because that's where the men are. And I was like, you gonna go to the strip club because men are there? But men are horny at the strip club. But when I started going, and I don't go often, but when I did go, it was more like it was a social scene. It wasn't like everybody's like, come here, girl, come here, girl.
Right.
You know what I mean? You had the different genders in there. Just
It's almost like a network.
yeah, definitely. So did you tell your supervisor about the song?
I did. I played it for her afterwards. And fast forward now, she's oddly enough married.
I was about to say, you think you slick.
You know.
I hear you. I heard a song about it like the hit.
Nah, I can't dip your pen in company ink. You know what I'm saying? It creates too many problems.
You are one mature brother.
Appreciate that.
So what brought you to Atlanta?
Well, Ohio by way of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly speaking, Atlanta is way cheaper than Chicago.
Really?
And yes. Yeah. Chicago, I mean, a lot of people don't know it's the third biggest city in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take that, it's on the level of your New York, your LA, your San Diego as far as cost of living.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing all right up there, but when there's another city that's just as productive on the music side and at a fraction of the cost,
Makes sense.
it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, 50 and 60-degree Januaries instead of negative 25 with 3 feet of snow outside. Like, yeah, let me go ahead and move south.
Yeah, that what they call the hawk up
Right.
in Chicago.
That lake effect snow.
So how long have you been singing?
I've been singing pretty much my entire life. Like my family's full of singers. So it's kind of just like a rite of passage. I started singing in church at like 10.
Mm-hmm.
My mom made me. I'll never forget this because like my sisters, I have 3 older sisters. So they were all singing and then they would hear me sing. So they forced me into the choir because all my friends wanted to be rappers. So I didn't sing. So put me into the church choir. My music teacher just happened to be visiting from a different church that day. So she saw me up there, went to school the next day. She had me sing in front of her. And then she said, if you don't sing, she gave me a solo. She's like, if you don't sing, I'm going to tell your mom. So you already know how that went.
Oh, yeah. Well, what you want me to sing? Which part?
Right. So started singing that way. And the first time I ever sang was in my middle school. Yeah. First time I ever sang outside of church was in middle school. And then the girls screamed when I got done.
The who?
The girls screamed right after I got done.
Oh, the girls screamed.
Yeah, like the crowd.
Mm.
I've been addicted ever since.
He's like, let me get another solo when y'all done.
Right. Let me get this one. Let me get that one. Yeah.
And I know at the shop you mentioned that you used to play football.
Yeah, you can't be from Ohio and not play football.
Either football or basketball.
Right.
Yeah. So would you be singing in scrimmage or something like you get hit like, whoa? yeah. It won't happen again, Jack.
Right. Well, I mean, like a lot of people, I kind of like tried to hide it for a while.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really like want to tap into it because I was a football player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like after a while, it's just kind of like I wasn't playing football anymore. I had broke my leg, blew a scholarship. So football was over for me. So I had to figure out something else to do. So I was like, well, I'm already singing at church. So
keep the party going.
Right. Right.
So if you had kids, would you push them into singing as your parents did to you, or would you? I mean, like on the business side, the artist side, like what, as far as the arts are concerned, how would you sort of introduce them into that?
That's actually crazy because I actually just found out that I'm about to be a first time father.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
Man,
congratulations, brother.
a whole quarantine baby. Too much too much chill, not enough Netflix. But anyway, uh I because we found out it's a girl.
Okay.
So I definitely hope that she can sing.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my soon to be wife, if she can't sing, it's your fault.
That's a lot of damn pressure, Aaron.
Right. Right. So
You sound like that. It's your mama. That's what it is.
for sure. So yeah, I hope she can sing. I hope, I mean, my family sings. So it's just kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's gonna come. So one thing that I've noticed about your social media, because we follow each other now, is that you actually have a barometer for social justice.
Hmm.
And as it pertains to, well, now it's kind of trendy, so a lot of the popular artists are jumping into it. And I'm not gonna say all of them, but you can tell the ones that are faking. I can anyway, and you
Hmm.
can tell that by their actions and other things. But anyway, um, and seeing that you are a football player, you were a football player. How did you feel about the sport when you saw Colin Kaepernick get blackballed?
Well, man, that's a real question. It was double-sided for me because I'm actually a 49ers fan.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first saw it, I really didn't pay any attention because I saw the behind the scenes thing. He always sat, he never stood. So when he first came out and said it and what he was standing for, it was just kind of like he's spot on. He's telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and obviously you saw the reaction, but people knew he was telling the truth. They just didn't really want to accept it. And for certain demographics, a lot of people had never even heard that before or listened to it before. So a lot of people didn't think two Americas could exist, but it's blatantly obvious that it does.
I think the demographic you're speaking of knows that it exists. They just don't want to acknowledge it because then you would have to acknowledge the privileges that you have. And acknowledging those privileges, now you got to make a choice. Either you denounce them or you just come out and say, "Yeah, I don't give a shit."
Facts. So, I mean, me personally, of certain demographics, like you gotta have to be cut from a certain cloth, otherwise I don't even want to really be around you. Because, I try to, and I think everybody should try to judge everybody off individual cases.
Mm-hmm.
You know, treat people how you want to be treated first. That's just the golden rule. But like if you just dismiss the struggles, considering the history of this country of Black people, eh, I don't know if we can be cool.
You got to hit them with the Heisman pose.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
give me
and
3 feet.
that's good because a lot of artists are willing to just go with whatever the money tells them to go to. And I know for me, I've never been a millionaire. I've never touched $1 million. So um, I come from humble beginnings. So I understand totally.
Mm.
And I don't really perceive a amount of money that's able to get me to be like, you know what? On second thought, you know,
Ain't tap dance.
nah, my big toe ain't good enough for that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen both sides. Like my story's a little bit interesting. Like, I mean, everybody has one, but I grew up okay. But my mom's side of the fam had money. My dad's side of the family didn't. So I've seen, like my cousin the Huntsville NASA base um, down in Alabama. She was vice president of that for 30 some odd years.
Mm.
You know, their crib had an elevator in it. My dad's sister was one of the biggest dealers in the city that I'm from. One of my earliest memories was riding around with my dad. He was looking for his brother, pulled him out of a crack house.
Mm.
And like I was a little kid, I used to wonder, like, hey, why is his fingertips got these burn marks on them?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, for me, it was, you know, it was real on both sides. Hold
Yeah.
on, I got allergies, so excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, that was yeah, that was and to know that the drugs was imported in by the government and dropped off, it's like I don't know how anybody has faith in this.
I was just watching Prime Video, The Last Narc last night.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished that series and it was talking about Kiki Camarena, the DEA agent that was killed in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was talking about how pretty much he was killed because he didn't take the payoffs and he was about to expose the government, the Mexican government, so on and so forth, for importing cocaine in the 80s. So I was just like, you know, they gave you a Dare t-shirt, put President Reagan on the cover of Time magazine and said, don't do drugs.
Say no to drugs, boys and girls. Bring
While
that cocaine over there.
while the plane was in the air, you know.
Yo, that's and another good movie. Have you ever seen Kill the Messenger?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it just yet.
So Kill the Messenger tells the story as to even how the real Rick Ross is even out of jail.
Okay.
Like the real Rick Ross used to make, I think he said on his slowest days, $5 million a day
On a slow day.
on a slow day. And he's out right now.
Sheesh.
But
Yeah.
he's out right now because of the conspiracy that brought him into it. The government brought him into it and tried to make him take the fall for it.
Mm.
You know, this data is public and it's free in a lot of capacities, but we tend to want to, and I'm saying as a society period, just look the other way and just hear no evil, see no evil. But it's hard for somebody that has, especially for me, that's in front of people. Like I went from being a stand-up comedian from 2004 to 2016, and now I'm on my digital stuff. And it's hard to be in front of people and just ignore it.
Well, you being a stand-up comedian or having that background, doesn't it allow you to
Tell the
drop
truth.
a little game and give a little truth to these people? Just spoon
Yeah.
feed it to them a little bit?
Yeah, it does. Stand-up comedy is technically the last stance for truth telling. Like when your preachers won't tell you the truth, the politicians won't tell you the truth, your teachers won't tell you the truth. Like all these different industries are lying to you. The stand-up comic is supposed to be able to stand 10 toes and pull off what Richard Pryor pulled off, what George Carlin pulled off, what Dave Chappelle pulls off, what Chris Rock pulls off. But now everything, a lot of the comedians have been sort of conditioned to not do that because they want to get to the bag. When you look at entertainment, a good portion of the entertainers come from being poor. And once you go from being in poverty to wealthy, that mindset's, I can imagine, flips and be like, man, I can't go back to ramen noodles and sardines. What you want me to do? All right.
Yeah, but at some point, like, it gets to a point where eventually you're going to have enough money if you're at that level.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can take that money and flip it into a different industry or investments or just be financially literate, you're going to be okay. So it's okay to stand for something. And I think it's trendy right now, but I think this time it might continue.
Mm.
This time, I mean, this generation is just different. You know, I've got mentors that are older, way older, around for the 60s and all that stuff. And they all even say, your generation's cut from a different cloth. Y'all don't do things the same. Y'all not asking.
Mm-hmm.
We were out there in suits. Y'all are out there not caring.
Yeah.
And I told my one mentor, I said, well, I mean, if you think about it, I said, you can see old pictures of people being hung in suits and dresses.
Facts.
So when it comes to, it's not about what I dress like or what I say or what I do. It's literally, you just don't like me. So why should I care about your comfort? And I think that's what you're seeing right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, I hope it sticks. I really do, because when you look at another favorite person in history that I look up to is Malcolm X. And I remember hearing speeches of him saying the similar to the younger generation at that time. So what happens when there's a phrase that said history repeats itself,
Mm-hmm.
and there's another sentence that's attached to it that's never spoken. History repeats itself because the people don't know their history. So all of this stuff is templated. Like every generation, we get hit with the same stuff, and then you see the people stand up to make a change, and then here comes the crack epidemic, and then now this COVID stuff's happening, and there's all types of positioning that's going on. So I hope that we can keep it up. I hope we can sustain it. It will take a lot of us, young and old, to really reach back to the history and see the blueprints, and do away with what doesn't work, what hasn't worked, and really dive into the things that have worked. They're going to be the toughest. The things that have worked are going to be the toughest. I mean, you look at the bus boycott, that took 388 days or 83 days, something like that. That's
Yep.
consecutively. That wasn't, we're going to do this for one day and get back to business as usual. This was
Like the NBA players.
and people sacrificed during that year. People lost their jobs. People probably lost their lives, lost a lot of stuff, but they were in the fourth quarter with 5 seconds left on the clock, and they were in the lead
Yeah.
until they got back on the bus. And they gave that lead over, and we're back to today. But
Oh, we both know Sam, obviously.
yeah,
So you remember his question, what was wrong with your own water fountain?
facts.
And he's talking about the ownership part. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, there's different factions going on right now. I mean, everybody's split up differently. How you feel as far as ranges of, say, blackness. You have the super woke, as they call it.
Mhm.
They have the moderates, and you have your Terry Cruzes. Right. So I think a lot of people, because you say Malcolm X, I think what people don't grasp is that we needed Malcolm X and we needed MLK. But what we didn't need was the division between both groups.
Mhm.
And throughout history, there's always been a way to divide the groups
Mhm.
away from the main goal, because there's never just one way to do anything.
Mhm.
For example, the movie that's going to come out about Fred Hampton and William O'Neill.
Mhm.
He sold out Fred Hampton for $300, and not to do a 5 to 7 year bid
Mhm.
over a stolen car. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the last 2 years of Martin Luther King's life, he aligned with Malcolm.
yep. I
So
wonder if I let my people into a burning building or
yeah,
how.
yeah. So then they was like, "Oh shit, they get it." Um, but yeah, man,
When he started talking about the check and when the Poor People's Campaign came, and when it was okay, so
pull the plug.
if you're black, or if you're poor and white, or if you're just a presence, come on, mess with us real quick.
Mhm.
They pulled the plug,
Mhm.
like you said.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not something that's ever spoke about. Whenever you hear Martin Luther King's name, you hear
I have a dream.
I have a dream, and that's not what he would have stood for. What that's exactly what he stood for when y'all took him out.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, back to you and your music though.
Appreciate it.
I want to kind of lighten the mood up. So, where has your music taken you?
Um, Close.
Have you cracked the international market yet? Have you put your toe inside of that yet?
I've never performed over there. My music has been played in Europe.
Okay.
I've been what the everybody says. You've been this close. I've been in the offices. I've had contract offers.
Mhm.
A lot of 360 offers, which I don't want. Um,
Like, how do they put those 360s in front of your face with a smile? Like, you're gonna be like, yes, sir.
they take advantage of people's ignorance.
Uh-huh.
They take advantage of people's ignorance. Like you say, a lot of artists come from humble beginnings. So if somebody's just taking, here's $1 million, well, who's not going to say yes to that? But what they're not telling you is that you're going to get 5% from your agent. You're going to get another 5% from the booking agent and lawyer. You're going to get 20% from advertising. You're going to get another 100,000 in shows. So say if you get $1 million, you're going to wind up with like $300,000 in pocket, and people are living on $1 million budget.
And you got to pay some of that million back.
Right. Because they're going to get their money first on the back end. So that's when you have people like, God bless the dead, Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah. Shout out to you.
Who give you the game, or Ryan Leslie, who is a quote unquote C-list artist in America, but he goes over to the UK for 6 months.
He's a big deal.
And lives like royalty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, ownership is important in everything, specifically in music.
And I'm glad you got to that part, because my next question was, what business related advice would you give to up and coming artists? Because a lot, like when I was coming up, I'm older than you. We spoke about this in the shop. A lot of those artists now that they're older, they're like, man, we got gypped off. I mean, because you think of De La Soul. I know you can't find none of the original De La Soul because Tommy Boy shafted the mess out of them brothers.
Mhm.
To where they can't even, in their elder age, they can't even eat off of this classic work that they did back then.
T.I. has a rap line that is one of my favorites, and it's not like a ooh bars. If slow money beats no money, then what the hell you gonna worry about?
Say that again. If slow money
If
beats
slow money beats no, if
money.
slow money beats no money, then what the hell you worrying about?
Yeah.
So, what I did, because truth be honest, David Banner has a formula where it's 20. If you have 25,000 fans, that's really all you need to sustain a successful music career. Because you can have regional tours, you can sell your merch at an affordable price point for your shows. And I don't think any artist out here is going to complain with $1 million a year, and especially in today's times.
Right.
A lot of people,
independent.
right? A lot of people, Jay-Z special. Like, there's different classes of artists. Jay-Z is special. Not everybody's going to get to be Jay-Z, but you can be a Nipsey Hussle. You can be whatever. And that's what I'm chasing. So I would tell people,
more powerful than Jay-Z, because he would have owned everything.
So what I would tell up and coming artists is what I did, or what I do is, if you can pay for a lot of stuff up front and get your money on the back end to own it all, do that.
So when you say pay your money up front, you talking about the tracks, like pay for those in total.
Yeah, I do a lot of flat fees. So say if I'm working for a producer and his track he's gonna sell it to me exclusive for 800,000, something like that. I'm gonna pay him right up front. and we're going to negotiate the terms as far as
Publishing.
publishing, what the percentages are, what the splits are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's my record. He
Yeah.
owns percentage of that beat, but it's my record. Or if I'm doing a venue, how much is it to rent out the entire venue?
Facts.
I'm not splitting the door with you. All that money on my end is coming with me
Yeah.
because I can take my hustle and promote it.
Yeah.
It makes transactions quicker, faster, and you know what you have at the end of the night. You're not shelling out money for nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's if you can. Now, if you need investors or so on and so forth, I understand. I'm a COD type person. I don't like owing people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can pay it up front, pay it up front. Get your money on the back end.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is something that I learned following Ludacris. And from Ludacris, I started looking at other people's model. And so that's one reason why I got out of stand-up comedy, because I needed to get my business right. Because if you follow stand-up comedy in the traditional manner, you're probably going to end up 60, 70 years old playing hole in the wall comedy clubs for like $100, $200 here. And I say that because there are exceptional people that get through in the traditional way, but it's already oversaturated. It's already overcrowded. So you have a lot of comedians that get a lot of face time as far as these shows, but they have no equity in who they are.
Mm.
And they have to perform damn near 365 days a year just to be able to facilitate a lifestyle for their family. Like there's no off days. You can't get sick. Your vacation is going to be like, you can take a weekend off or something like that. And so when you follow the module that you're talking about, you cut out the middleman. And that's another thing that I learned from Nipsey Hussle. Cut out the middleman because you don't need them. You just need to do more work.
Yep.
On the business side. And
Yep.
there's actually a book that I got from listening to one of his old Sway in the Morning interviews. And it was, I don't know if you heard of this book, but it's called Contagious: Why Things Catch On.
Yep. It's in my oddly enough, it's in my Amazon queue right now.
Hey, brother, get that book today, right after this show.
Got you.
Because after I read that book, first of all, it made so much sense. It was like, damn, it was like common sense. Why did I never think about this? But every project that I put out ever since reading that book, it has drastically changed in the feel, the look, the impact, what it makes you feel like. And that's from the music to the movies to the shorts. I mean, the short film, music videos, all the things that I produce. Like you can tell, I can show you in the time frame before that book and after that book.
You can see the change.
You see the change just by following what this book spoke about.
Got
So,
you.
so how is the Atlanta scene? We about to wrap up here shortly. I don't want to take up all your Saturday, but it's good having you online and talk what we've been talking.
Man, appreciate you having me. I'm actually I'm diving into it slowly. Like I told you when we first met, I took the first year of being down here and just